Hi, my name is Tom from Blue Dot, and today we're going to review the HTC Evo 4G for Sprint. Just like the other HTC device that I've reviewed before, it has a little more heft to it. This is pretty common for one of their earlier phones from about 2 or 3 years ago. And that's not even really that bad of a thing. It feels tougher, that it can take more of a beating. Upon first looking at it, it's a pretty... I wouldn't call this sleek, but I also wouldn't call it clunky. It kind of borders that line. It has a nice, straight finish right here, but pretty hefty edges along the bottom, and kind of bulges out from here. But it's actually pretty nice to hold. The way that it's curved on the back kind of fits in your hand nicely. Now this uses 4G, it's Sprint's 4G, so it's not as fast as Verizon, but it's still pretty fast and has decent coverage. On the front we have the speaker, the front-facing camera, and the light sensors over there. Down on the bottom we have the Android option keys, and HTC always kind of takes more of a liberty with these symbols. So there's the home button, the menu or options button, the back button, and the search button. On the right we have the volume rocker. On the top we have the power button and headphone jack. On the bottom we have the microphone, the USB micro charge port, and a mini HDMI port. And on the back we have the 8 megapixel camera, the flash, another speaker, and microphones in there as well. And then we have the kickstand, which is pretty common in the Evos, which lets you kind of put the device down and watch Netflix or YouTube videos, stuff like that. So let's turn on this device. Just swipe down and turn it on. Alright, and this is a pretty bright screen. It's not as bright and vibrant as their newer lines with the 1X and 1S's and stuff like that, but is still pretty good for what it is. Nice bright colors. You can really see them with the options buttons down there, and applications are really nice and bright. And the screen reacts pretty well and pretty quickly. This uses a Snapdragon processor. It's a single core, but it's still really powerful. The screen resolution is 480 by 800 pixels, so it is not HD, but frankly I think HD is kind of pointless on phones because you'd have to have it really close to your face to be able to see it. But for what it is, the resolution is very, very nice. So let's check out the camera. We're going to click right here. And like all other HTC devices, we have a few options to choose from once we pull out the drawer here. We can switch between the photo and video right here. We can choose brightness with this nice little knob app. I really like that side of HTC phones. I'm kind of sad they got rid of it in their newer lines, but it kind of gives it this real feel when you're clicking that wheel back and forth. Of course, that's also here in the contrast, saturation, and sharpness. You can choose special effects for your pictures, and of course there's a couple of more options within here to kind of really fine-tune how you're going to be taking this picture. Now this camera, of course, is not a professional camera. No cell phone really is, but this really is getting close. This phone came out around the time when a lot of smartphones were going to have HD cameras and megapixels starting to go into the double digits. This is an 8 megapixel camera, so it's still really, really, really good. So let's switch to video. And video has a lot of the same options that you'll see in the camera. And this shoots in HD 720p. So it's not true HD like 1080p, but it still looks really, really good on a big screen. The picture is really clear, the sound is pretty decent, but again, I mean, this is a phone, so you shouldn't expect like theater quality HD on any cell phone. But for what it is, I mean, something you're holding in your hand, taking HD video, that's pretty good. So let's check out the stock keyboard. We're gonna go into messages, make a new message. All right. And the stock keyboard is a lot like the other HTC devices out there. It's pretty basic. There's nothing really special to write home about, but it's a pretty decent size. You can get to all the symbols by just holding down the different letters here or just pressing down here. Another nice addition is directionals here, so you can kind of choose where you're going to be writing within a sentence you already wrote. I mean, sometimes it's really tough to navigate in a sentence with your finger. Now, this is a Sprint 4G device, so you will need a SIM card for it. The speeds are pretty decent. They're not as good as Verizon, but I mean, there's not many out there that will be. Around here, Verizon is kind of king when it comes to 4G LTE. But I have a few friends who actually have this very device, and they have no complaints. It's been a very powerful device. It hasn't really failed them in any pinch. The GPS is really good, and of course it uses Google Navigator and Google Maps, which is free, which is one of the best features on Android. If you're looking for a phone with more power, 4G speeds, you don't necessarily care if you're on Verizon or not, and want it to have a little bit more heft and a nice, handle to it in your hand, then this is the perfect phone for you. You can buy this device and many others on our website at www.thebluedot.net. If you have any questions, just ask them below. I'll be happy to answer them. We have many other videos on our channel, how-tos, other reviews, and even a few animations. You can subscribe to us below. My name is Tom from The Blue Dot. Thanks for watching.